how do you deal with that? I mean, the travel, is it fun?
It's fun, yeah. I just buy gifts to my wife, and this is how I keep our marriage happy. It's a joke.
Welcome to our series entitled the IAM Podcast, a podcast about innovation, business, and most importantly, people. In this series, we'll be talking to founders, executives, and various experts about their vision, challenges, best practices, and lessons learned throughout their journey. Let's get started.
Hello and what's up, everyone? Today, I'm very excited. I am joined by none other than the Chief Technology Officer at Sensus Healthcare, Yonatan Weiner. Hello, Yonatan.
Hello, May. Thank you for having me. And I want to thank IAM Ops for this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we are doing here at Sensus Healthcare.
It's my pleasure. We are all very excited to learn more about you, your product, the market, and of course, the startup journey. Okay, so let's get started. Talk to us about your unique value proposition at Sensus Healthcare.
So in Sensus Healthcare, we are developing and manufacturing non-melanoma skin cancer solutions using superficial radiation therapy. And we got into the market of intraoperative radiation therapy to help patients that has, let's say, breast cancer and other cancers in that field to get more effective help when doing the surgery.
Okay, so you don't get cut, right?
No, you
Wow.
need to get cut if you are doing something else, which is another technique called modes. But we are giving the practices another solution for non-invasive.
Wow.
So you can come to the doctor, you're sitting on the chair, you don't need to lie down. It's very beneficial for the elder community. You just get the radiation and you go home.
Wow. Minimal care, minimal risks. That's amazing.
Yes.
So tell us about your product. How many are your products right now? And do you manufacture it or where do you manufacture it?
Yeah, so we have over 500 units that we sold over the last 10 years. We are manufacturing everything in the US. We'll keep the location to ourselves, but it's a US-based product. And we are doing some of the R&D in Israel as well, which is my primary location. But the manufacturing is here in the US.
Okay. So talk to us about the communication. So you said manufacturing is in the US and you're in Israel. So how do you deal with that?
So we are using technologies to make sure that everything is smooth. We are using VPNs, and usually we stay late in Israel to have calls with the guys in the US. I know it's very late where you are right now, so I appreciate it. But we have a separation between everything related to the development of the product and the actual manufacturing. So we are overcoming these boundaries, but from the first place, we did it in a way that each one can work individually.
That's a very good strategy, especially now. I mean, during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, we had to travel a little bit. And I am really thankful that the airline companies kept the line open from Tel Aviv to Miami. But the world is changing to a remote workforce, and it's been like that for us since the first day. So we are okay. We adapted early.
Yeah, right. That's like the future of work. So, how about this one? Talk to us about your MVP. How was the first product, or yeah, the story about that?
Yeah, so our flagship is the superficial radiation therapy device called SRT-100 Vision, which is the most advanced out of the SRT-100 family that started with the SRT-100 when the company was founded in 2010. Then we created the Vision, and then we created the little brother, the SRT-100 Plus. So the uniqueness of the SRT-100 Vision is that it comes with an ultrasound that helps the physician to create a better plan by scanning the skin and seeing the depth of the lesion, the dimensions, and by doing that, the physician can create a custom plan using the specific voltage and the specific applicator size to irradiate only the lesion and not anything outside that. So the other part of the skin remains safe and not
Clear.
getting this radiation. Yes.
Great. Do you have any user story? Like how was the
Oh,
first
yeah.
user?
So I don't remember the first user because I wasn't with the company yet. I am with the company for 5 years, and the company is 10 years old. But there is one story that I remember, and I actually met this patient. Unfortunately, he passed away a few months ago, and he had a lung implant.
Mhm.
So after having that, you it's harder for you to treat skin cancer. So he had many cuts, and he lost one of his ears. So he didn't have one of his ears. And then when the skin cancer came back, he found out about our unique product, and he got multiple treatments using our SRT. And that was something that touched me when I personally met him once in my
Mm,
first days in the company. He used to come a lot and speak about this condition, and he was one of our best supporters.
totally unforgettable. That story, patient story. Okay. So you handle a lot of sensitive medical data, right?
Yes.
So please talk to us about like regulations, or what are the things that you have to comply with.
Yeah, so it depends where you sell your product. So in the US, you need to comply to HIPAA, and in the European Union, you need to comply to GDPR.
Mm.
Um, in Israel, for example, the hospitals are more concerned about the data because Israel is one of the biggest targets for cyber attacks, and we saw it recently with a big breach that affected one of our leading hospitals. So
Mm.
we take it very seriously. Since day one, we chose to work with AWS because they provided a very good framework and white paper about how to store and transfer sensitive information, which is called the PHI, Protected Healthcare Information. And we are doing everything that is needed. We encrypt everything. We don't allow access to uh, other parties that are not supposed to see this information. We are following all the best practices. We are doing audits to make sure that our cloud system is minimally invasive. No one can say that you cannot penetrate. I think that there are hackers that can do everything, but I think that our job as people in the technology realm is to make everything we can so the hack will not happen and the data will not be uh, shared with the world.
Right. You have to make that security airtight, if we can say that. Okay. So
Exactly.
how how about the FDA part? Like when you're submitting the an FDA product. So can you share with us like what do you have to go through? How can
Yes.
you deal with it?
So there is a cybersecurity chapter when submitting an FDA product that deals with software, and there are clear guidelines about what you can do and what you can't do. And you just need to know how to create this chapter. And the fact that you are following this gives you better practices of the development itself. So my advice is to read everything before you even start the development, because you might find out that the guidelines themselves gives you the structure how to develop the software for your product, and it
Mm.
helps because it takes less time when you're doing the actual submission, because you don't need to change everything.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good tip. So you said yes, no hospital, is willing to give you access to the cloud. Like they're very protective of the data, and the market is currently going digital. So can you share with us some challenges regarding that?
Yeah, yes, of course. So one of our solutions was to create an offline system. So if we have a client, which is usually a hospital that doesn't want to connect to the cloud, we provide an internal solution. So we connect our product to our system, and we provide access within the hospital. Uh, Specifically in Israel, it's more sensitive, but here in the US, we do have few hospitals that are okay with that. But you just need to be extra, not extra careful. You just need to uh, think about everything twice, because they give you a specific questionnaire that you need to fill,
Mm.
and the questionnaire itself makes you question your product. So you are actually going step by step, and you are checking, do I do that? And fortunately, we are doing that. So we
Nice.
followed the best practices from the first place. So it's easy for us when we get this challenge. Um, when we get this challenge, we overcome it.
Nice. Okay. So tell me about why you preferred IAM Ops over other alternatives. Like, why did you go to IAM Ops?
So I met your CTO, Roy, on a walk when I walked with my dog, and he walked with his dog. And we started talking, and he asked me what I'm doing. I told him that we are working with the cloud as well. And he said, that's what we do. So this is how it started. And I like the personal care that you get with IAM Ops.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
are not just another customer that sends an email or make a request when there's an issue. I literally call Roy and ask him, Roy, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? And this is what I like about IAM Ops, the personal
Mm.
care that you get and the quick response. And by the way,
Right.
your team is great. I would like to shout out for Niken, who did an amazing job for us. And we would be happy to grow together.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy to hear this podcast. Okay. Yes, because you worked with other like cloud providers, right? Okay. And okay. So speaking of challenges, okay, let's go to your story. Okay. you did a lot of hardware, right? When you were in the army and a lot of software too. And we want to know how you got into healthcare and how was it?
Wow, that's an interesting story. I think that is because my brother-in-law, he was in the healthcare, and he is still in the healthcare. And I saw what he was doing, and I wanted to do something good, not just another product that doing something nice. And I like all the games, I like all the social medias, and I respect everyone for what he's doing or she's doing. But I think that if you can do something that makes good in the world, like helping treat patients and giving them better outcomes, especially when it's the elder community, people over 70 and over 80, you just want to do that. So this is what got me into working with healthcare.
Yes, you lengthen lives. So
Mhm.
yes, improving lives. Okay, yeah, that's big. Okay, so you often travel. You said 50% in the US, 50% in Israel. Is that right?
It's less. I would say it's 20% in the US
20% in the
and
US.
80% in Israel.
Okay. So how do you deal with that? I mean, the travel, is it fun?
It's fun, yeah. I just buy gifts to my wife, and this is how I keep our marriage happy. No, it's a joke. Yeah, we don't have kids yet, so I think it's an advantage because if we had kids, I think it would be hard for me to leave home for that long.
Yeah.
Uh, that's not fun when you need to leave, especially the day of leaving. But once you get here and meet the whole team, you just focusing on work. And I can tell that during my visits in the US, I think that the productivity goes from let's say 80% to 120%,
Wow.
because you don't have anything else to do. So you
Got
are
it.
not exactly at home. You are waking up, going to the office, and then when you are done, you have the hotel. Sometimes you are with friends and family. Sometimes you are by yourself. So you usually don't watch TV. Let's see what's on the news, because you're not home.
Mm.
So you're just working more.
Yeah, totally get it. Like, okay, laser focus on work. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything else.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
so that's an advantage.
advantage. Okay, what's the future plan? I mean, is it going to be like this 5 to 10 years later?
You know, like you said, the remote workforce is being adopted by um, most of the companies. So I
Yeah.
think that you can be even in a higher position and being remote. So if all the employees can do that, so can you. So I think that in the next few years, we will be in the same, I don't know if 5 to 10, but let's say in the next year or two, I think that we will be in the same setup. And who knows, maybe one day we will move, or maybe the company will move to Israel.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Okay,
Yeah.
as the CTO, well, you said if you had an hour to solve a problem, you would spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem, 5 minutes
Yes.
thinking about solutions. So I would like to hear more about that.
Yeah. So that's something that I bring from the software development world. And when we are working on a problem, so usually you have two kinds of approaches. You have the people that jump right into the code and just start coding, and you have the other part that would sit, think, plan, and then execute. So I think that this approach should be given to the whole industry, not just to the software industry. When you have a problem, you need to sit, think about it, and only when you are satisfied with what you came up with, you need to start the implementation, because you will probably throw many of your ideas during this process, and you will get new ideas and then another idea. And just in the end, when you are positive that this is what you need, start the implementation.
Hmm. So when you're not a CTO, who are you? Like, what do you do?
I play guitar. People don't like it when I play guitar because I'm not really good at it. I walk with my dog, doing long walks. I like to spend time with family, and I'm just reading. There's so much to learn. We have a limited time in life, and I think that a day that you're not learning something new, even something small, even just 15 minutes of reading
Hmm.
something interesting, you are wasting this day. So just trying to learn as much as I can.
Wow. What do you always tell your team? Like, okay, first, how many people do you handle right now?
Something like 10 people in the R&D department.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are in the US, some of them are in Israel, and we have an amazing team. I saw a survey on LinkedIn a few days ago. There was a question, what is the most important thing? And the majority of people replied, the team itself. Uh, I'll say it again. I saw a few days ago a survey on LinkedIn asking what is the most important thing in your job.
Mm.
So the majority say the team, and I agree with that. We have the best team, and you can always solve a problem and create a product, but it's different when you have a good team that you can trust. For example, sometimes
Fantastic.
when I travel, I don't have access to the internet. I know that our team will handle any issue that will arise. I can close my eyes and I know that it will be done. So when you have this level of trust in your team,
Trust.
this is when you know that you have the best team. And these are the people that you need to continue working with and make sure they stay.
Okay, this is a must watch for your team.
Yes.
Okay, so what is then the most important lesson or tip or yes to aspiring entrepreneurs or CTOs?
Definitely follow your dreams. So you create your own opportunities. If you see that there is a need for something in the market that is not there, bring this solution. Even if you are on the lower level in your company, just go and talk with people, talk with executive, bring your ideas. Just let people know about you and about your ideas, because when there will be time to develop it or to bring new uh, products to the market, the people that make the decision will remember your proposal and your insights, and then you will get the chance to make the dream happen.
Wow, how do you validate that idea? Like, is this a good idea or
So you can search for it on any search engine. You can check with your teammates and talk with others in the company, usually the managers and the executive team will know because they know what's going on with the market. So if you have good idea, it will chase after you. Okay, so after you propose it, if it's something good, they will find you and they will make it happen.
I like that. It will chase after you. Like it won't let you sleep at night. That would keep you up at night. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So if we can read your mind, okay, what do you want to see or what is the future for you for Sensus Healthcare as a CTO of the company?
So we are focusing on everything related to the cloud and remote access to all our devices. So our goal is to create accessible devices so you no more need to be next to the device to treat and to validate. So patients will be able to get good care even if they are in less developed areas and they don't have access to this care. So that's the goal, to provide better healthcare even to those that don't have access to it by moving some of it to the cloud, so it will be remote and accessible, like the remote workforce or remote care.
Wow, that's totally a thing in the future and will help and improve a lot of lives, especially you said like third world countries such as Philippines. Okay, so we really look forward to that, Yonatan. Okay, this is the last question for tonight. So you have to fill this statement. I am Yonatan, your blank CTO. So what do you want to be known for?
That's interesting. I would say make it happen CTO. So if there is an idea, I and the team will do everything to make it happen.
Amazing. Thank you very much and all the best to Sensus Healthcare.
Thank you, May, and all the best to IAM Ops. And we are thrilled to make this journey together with you and using your great services.
This podcast is powered by IAMOps.io. Optimize your cloud infrastructure and CI/CD process with IAMOps.io dedicated DevOps team. Check out www.iamops.io and get a DevOps team now. Make sure to check out www.iamops.io if you want to know more about us. Subscribe to our podcast so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you and you have a great day.